Miss Mary, welcome. The floor is yours. Please feel free to share your screen and you can go ahead and start with your presentation as soon as you are ready.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are. We can hear you.
Yeah, just a minute. Give me 1 minute to just switch my internet because it's showing unstable. Just 1 minute, huh? Just a minute.
Completely fine. Welcome from Indonesia. Good morning to everybody. Good morning from KSA.
All right, I'm done. I'm ready.
All right, go ahead.
Good morning, everyone. Reem has given a brief introduction about myself, which is absolutely fine. Tesol, Kuwait is, as I was telling Miss Anne and Dr. Reem, it's like my mother's house because 19 years, whatever I have learned, it's like, you know, dad's house and mom's home. So I'm very loyal to my mom's home. So that is, Kuwait has given me a lot of wonderful memories, lots and lots of friends who are still in touch. And one of them is Dr. Anne, Veronica, Marine. We are still in touch with each other. And I met a new friend today, Dr. Reem. Kuwait, 19 years ago, when I was recruited to be a part of the first Indian delegation, I'm very proud to say that I was a part of the first Indian delegation that was recruited from India to come to Kuwait. Now, Kuwaitis were not used to Indians as teachers. So I would say we were the pioneers. And I stood there 19 years. I taught there 19 years in the secondary school. And let me tell you, I enjoyed my time. I learned a lot from the community there. I was the only Indian teaching in the high school there. And I was the only Christian there. But, you know, within 1 month, I understood what the Muslim religion is, what is Ramadan. We did not know anything about Ramadan. They knew me, I knew them, and we respected each other. So that is why I have chosen the topic for the day, and I'm going to be sharing my screen with each one of you. It's talking about embracing diversity. What do I mean by diversity? Now, I was writing down the people who've just joined. I have people from Croatia, Bosnia, Georgia, first time, Albania, I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly, Oman, Dubai, my mom's country, my country, home country, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, and India, my home country, actually from where I am. So all these people, we have joined Tesol Kuwait. I'm not going to give you anything new. You know it as teachers, as facilitators. As Dr. Reem said, I'm teaching in an online school that is called 21K School. You can Google it and check. We have almost 8,000 students now. All across the world, we have students who are belonging to different countries, different cultures, different religion. But one thing is there that we are all, respectful. We are all embracing each other. We are belonging to different backgrounds. I'm an Indian teacher and I have a Korean student in class. I'm an Indian teacher. I have a Spanish teacher, student in class. But here, one thing is very sure. Why should we respect each other? Now, I've been always told, if you give respect, you will get respect. I have someone raising hand. Yes, can I have the answer? Ella has just raised her hand. Yes, Ella. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Why should we respect each other? Would you like to answer, Ella? Since you've raised your hand. All right, I think there is some issue there. We give respect, we get respect. So the topic that I chose is embracing diversity, having cultural diversity. And I'm going to tell you some strategies that I have tried and it has been successful. It's up to you. I'm sure each one of us treat our students in a respectful way. I'm sure our students treat us in a respectful way. But it is not only us who's treating students respectfully and getting respect from them. We have to teach We have to educate, we have to train our children, our students to treat each other with respect. So we have to accept diversity. As you know, we always say the 5 fingers, no fingerprint is same. Each one has a different fingerprint. So no fingerprint is the same. The same way, no 2 human beings are the same. Now, what does embracing diversity mean? I hope you can see my screen, all of you. Can you all see my new screen? Can I just have somebody telling me?
Yes, so we can see the main one, embrace diversity.
Can you see? Oh, okay. Okay, 1 minute. Just you cannot see what does it mean, right? 1 minute. I'm just going to. Okay. Now you can see.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. What does embracing diversity mean? Anybody can anyone give me an answer? I want people to respond. I don't want it to be a one-sided, a session. Can anyone tell me what does embracing diversity mean? Yes, Mr. Mohammed. Yeah.
Yes. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Good morning to you all. Embracing diversity, it doesn't mean like we. I would just like to look at this from a different point of view. Like, for example, if I have a student in my classroom from whatever country or mixed countries are in the classroom, we need to respect and value each other's language, mother's tongue, you know. So I always tell my students that all languages are from God, you know. So I respect Arabic, I respect English, I respect Chinese. So I always say that the origin is one. So it doesn't mean that
absolutely
I cannot say that there is a language is the number 1 language. There is no number 1.
Absolutely, absolutely. Mr. Mohammed, your answer is absolutely to the T. Correct. Absolutely. All of, as you said, there is no number 1 language because, you know, we are coming from different areas where different countries where the language is different, you know, languages are different all across the world. I cannot say that, you know, English is the number 1 language or this language because all languages are medium of communication and all languages are equally important. There is no way from the time we have been, you know, children, we've been told we respect, we accept differences in people, cultures and beliefs. So every country, every nationality, every religion, every person is important. You accept them and you respect them. We recognize that each individual is unique. As I said, our fingerprints are not the same. My fingerprint would not be the same as Abdul Karim Korbi's fingerprint. It will be all different. So each individual is unique. And each one of us, now I can see there are 169 of us here right now in this particular thing. Each one has a different perspective. If I say this bottle is, I don't know whether you can see it. If I say this cup is white in color, actually it's not white, it is off-white in color. But somebody would say it's white in color. Can imagine if there was only one nationality or people? Can you imagine the same nationality, the same language? That is why we have diverse nationality, diverse, we have, languages, diverse religions. So that makes this world a beautiful place. So we recognize each individual, that each individual is unique, and we accept them. We, as they say, we agree, we disagree to agree. So I might disagree with, let's say, Mohammed Orbi here. I might disagree, but when I'm convinced that his perspective is correct, I will agree. I might agree. So we accept everyone. We respect everyone. And where does that come? This happens when we embrace diversity. One good thing I miss here in India is, during Ramadan or during, when I used to see Arabs meeting each other, we would hug each other, right? We would give them the embrace, which doesn't happen in India. We don't embrace each other. Whenever I used to go to Mansuria to teach in the morning, Salam alaikum, wa alaikum salam, I used to give a, hug, a peck in the cheek, or we just embrace each other. So what happens when we embrace diversity? When we embrace diversity, we appreciate the value of different ideas. We appreciate the way people are thinking. So we appreciate different ideas. We appreciate the way people are thinking. What happens when, diversity is there? Now, Indian perspective, Kuwaiti perspective, Croatian perspective, Bulgarian perspective, Omani perspective, UAE perspective. Can you imagine all these join here? We have people from Oman, Iran. When all these perspectives join here, even though we are diverse, it enhances creativity. It improves it. It becomes creativity is at its peak, and we innovate a lot of things. See, we have a lot of things that we can create and innovate in spite of our diversity. So diversity is important because it will improve creativity, and we are able to innovate ideas. We are able to innovate a lot of things which will make life easy for everyone. Now, it also means creating an environment. Stop sharing. 2000, but Arabs in Dishdasha, when I saw them, when we Kuwait International Airport, when you're alighting, you're getting down the escalator, and we had two gentlemen from the Ministry of Education waiting there to welcome this first batch of Indians. And the first thing is, wow, why are they wearing, a long? Then we learned the name Agyar. Correct me if my pronunciation is wrong, I don't know. And then they had the Gutra. All these words I learned in Kuwait. So we were ready to learn. Similarly, the Kuwaitis, the Arab nationals, were ready to welcome Indians. They did not say, oh, she's an Indian, so why should she be teaching? That is the first example that I got, first witness that I got in Kuwait is when they welcomed us with open arms. There was no discrimination whatsoever, I can tell you. I had heard about it and I was wondering, Kuwait is a rich country. So we had learned about Kuwait, in history in the 8th and 9th, you dig a well and there is gold there. There is oil there. We never found, we dug holes. We never found oil there. And I used to always think, the apartment that I live, go to the ground floor, you make a drill and then there'll be a spout of, oil well coming. There was no oil well. Even though I was staying in Mangaf, I could see the oil wells there, but otherwise there is no oil. But the people there were more precious than gold or oil because they welcomed each other. They welcomed all nationalities with open arms. So diversity, when you embrace diversity, what happens is we are able to accept people regardless of their differences, regardless of which country they belong, which nation they are coming from, which background they are coming from. Now, when we embrace diversity, what happens? It also means, now I have a particular opinion, so I'm going to ask Fidza. Fidza, what do you think? If we work like this, will it be okay? So Fidza gives me her opinion. Then we ask Abdul Karim Korbi, do you think this will this work out if we do it this way? Or I'll ask Mr. Suresh, Mr. Suresh, does this work out if we go like this? So can you imagine 10 heads, different perspectives working together towards a common cause? And what is the common cause that we are all entrusted with? That is teaching our students the right values. I repeat, teaching our students the right values. So you embrace diversity. We embrace diversity, we are looking out for different perspectives and for experiences. each one here, we have 190 now, right now. Each one of us has an experience that you fall back on. Each one has an experience that we can learn from. Learning never stops. Let me tell you, teachers, we continue to learn throughout our life. So if I'm taking, let's say I'm asking Mr. Mohammed, Orabi, how do we do this? And he explains it to me. I accept his perspective. I apply it. I have an experience to share. So embracing diversity means looking out, seeking other person's perspectives, valuing other person's perspectives. Do not take another person's perspective just for the, for the sake of taking it. Take it because you value it. It also means being open to learning and growing from them. Now, again, I would like to share here. I'm going to stop sharing. I didn't know Arabic. Indians coming to the Middle East, I'm sure all my Indian compatriots here would agree to me. We did not know Arabic. But let me tell you, all our colleagues who are Arab nationals, they taught us Arabic. Now, I was teaching English in grade 11 and 12 in Kuwait. Now, the word is there, and we've been told the word, you give the meaning, and probably we have to give the translation. Now, I cannot write Arabic. So I would ask the person, my fellow teacher, a particular words, let's say, salam. So salam means hello. And how to pronounce salam is a very easy word because, that's something which is in India, Hindi also, it's salam. So let's say the word salam, I put the English meaning and I would write it, the Arabic word, I would write it in English. So the Arabic word was written in English. For example, counting. I know counting till 100. I can go on till Mia. Now, talata, how do I write it in? Now, talata means 3. So I used to write T-H-A-L-A-T-H-A. And then I would ask my colleague to write the Arabic word there. So if I'm pronouncing the word wrong, my students would unhesitatingly tell me, Miss Mary, sorry. It does not, this is not the right way you're pronouncing it. Okay, Shekha, give me the pronunciation. She would stand up and she would say, Miss is pronounced as talata. Talata. Correct. Thank you so much, dear. Now, one more word they taught us, they taught me. Now, in India, and many of my compatriots would agree to it, chup means please keep quiet. But in Arabic, it has a different meaning. That is a very good way to say, So I just said, in Hindi, it just said, class, chup. They said, Miss Mary, never say in Arabic chup because it means, the bad way to say, S-H-U-T-U-P. That's something which I learned from them. So when I'm willing to, I'd never said, okay, you are my students, stop teaching your teacher. I have heard lots of teachers saying this. I have heard, honestly, I'm telling you, I have heard lots of teachers saying, I know all. Teachers, we don't know all. If we knew all, when ChatGPT came, how many of us Googled ChatGPT? How many of us learned? Yeah, I did. And I'm very active on it. Let me tell you that. No hesitations about it. When the lockdown came, I was in Kuwait. Ministry tried big blue button. We didn't know what was big blue button. We only knew Google Meet and Zoom. I did not tell the ministry, okay, I don't want to learn something new. I already know Zoom and I know Google Meet. We tried Google Meet, then we tried big blue button, then we tried Google Meet, then we came back to the old one, Zoom. We all learned. We did not say, I have decades of teaching. I am not going to learn anything new. But I've had a lot of teachers who refused to learn. They said, no, I'm not going to take up this challenge. So as teachers, we should never stop learning. If you have stopped learning, please gear up, start learning, because AI, artificial intelligence, is here to stay for good. So don't say, but a lot of places AI is being used. So get yourself ready, Google, check, join courses, never stop learning. If you stop learning, what happens is there is an end to it. You are not able to give your children something new. I had a very open discussion with my grade 8 and 21K school on ChatGPT. Because, you know, I used to get assignments where children would just write the question and copy it from there and get. And when I asked them to read it, they said, ma'am, I'm sorry, you know, honestly, they told me I copied from Google. From Google, if you copy, we can just put it there and you can know. But if they've copied from ChatGPT, there is no way to know it. So please be open to learning. Please be open to grow with the learning. Because what happens is, we all have our own biases. We all have our own assumptions. But we have to strive to be inclusive. We have to be inclusive, at least make an attempt to be inclusive through your actions and through your behaviors. Once again, I would like to mention it here. You know, when we came to Kuwait, we did not know in Ramadan, I'm sure many of my Indian compatriots who are here, we did not know Ramadan, we are not supposed to eat or drink outside, right? Because in India, we do it. In the Middle East, you know, but when we came to Kuwait, I'm so grateful to the senior teacher who told me, Miss Mary, if you are hungry, please go inside and eat, but don't eat in public. Okay, what will happen, Miss Alia, if I eat in public? Amako mishkila, nothing will happen. The Shruti, that is the police, will come. You'll be put behind bars for probably 1 month, and you just have to give Mia KD, 100 KD. Thank you so much. I'm not going to eat in public. That's something we learned. Now, I could say, oh, I'm an Indian. Why? It doesn't bother me. But, you know, over the years, I started, you know, the first month it was difficult. Then when they were fasting, even I would avoid eating with them. I would not eat in front of them because, you know, I was sort of tempting them. I didn't want to do that. So we respect each other. We embrace our diversity. Life becomes very peaceful if you do that. Otherwise, it's going to be very difficult to accept each other. So we strive to be inclusive in our actions. Just do not preach and don't practice. Practice what you preach. I tell my students, you know, we are all equal, we are all this thing. And suddenly a new student comes from somewhere else. Oh, you are from this country? The tone itself says that your actions, your behaviors, your students are noticing it. Now, next, we celebrate the differences that make us unique.
I think Miss Mary may have a internet connection, so we'll just give her a few minutes to, all right, I think Miss Mary is back. Miss Mary, I think you're on mute. If you could just kindly unmute. There we are. Thank you.
Sorry. There's a major power cut here, so but I'm sorted now. Don't worry about it. Okay. All right. So we are building towards working together to make a more inclusive and equitable society for everyone. Can anyone explain to me the meaning of the word equitable? Anyone, come on. You will get a gift voucher from Alganim, hypothetically, not a reality. Virtually, I'll send you. Anyone?
Hello, Mrs. Mary.
Good morning. Good afternoon. Hi, Deepa. Yes, Deepa. Equitable.
Equitable, I guess. Would it be giving an equal chance to everyone?
Absolutely. And equal. So
everyone equally?
Fair. Absolutely. Absolutely, Amna. Now, Deepa actually also belongs to the first group of Indians that came to Kuwait. So both of us, we flew in the same day. So equitable means to give equal status to everyone in society. So Deepa, Alganim is promised to you. Definitely, I will do that. And Amna is also there. So
you.
we are working together to build a more inclusive and equitable society for everyone, where each one of us lives peacefully. Now, if you see here, I have, of course, my country's flag, and I have Kuwait. And here we have various nationalities together. So all of us are living peacefully. All of us are living in a healthy way, where we support each other, we feel for each other. So as teachers, if you are including in your syllabus, talking about respect, talking about equal status, talking about listening to others, talking about empathy, you empathize, you feel for the other person, trust me, our students will prove to be global citizens. It will not be difficult for them to accept any other nationality, because these are the values that have been inculcated in them. So we are trying for an equitable society. Now the question is, why should we create and foster cultural diversity in our classrooms? Now, English is one particular class. I'm sure we have teachers from other subjects also here. English is one particular class where children enjoy, maybe because they're reading poems or stories, or there is interactions, etc. In your classes, when you're talking about cultural diversity, as I told you, I have students from almost 70 countries in my class, different nationalities. Each one is incorporated, each one day, okay, now this particular person had their Liberation Day the other day, another one had their National Day the other day. Then they had the Pongal festival, they had the Baisakhi festival. When we are sharing this cultural diversity in class, the class is a healthy class where we grow together. We are supporting each other. Now, also in our classes, it enhances language learning. Now, I'm sure we all know bonjour, we know hola, we know hello, we know salam alaikum, we know namaste, all these languages. So cultural diversity. Remember, during the pandemic, nobody was shaking hand. They were all doing the Indian namaste. They did not say, okay, why should I use the Indian, why should I greet another person with the Indian namaste? It's not my culture. We accepted it all over the world. It was nice to see the leaders of various nations greeting each other with the Indian way, that is the namaste. So we are, they were willing to accept it. They were willing to accept it. And thus what happened is everything went, everybody was, accepting each other. People knew, okay, this namaste is from India. This particular, president or the prime minister was greeting the other person, his fellow president or prime minister. He was greeting in the same way. He was greeting with the namaste. So it enhances diversity. It enhances, each one living peacefully with each other. Now, as I told you, I am teaching in an online school where we have, let me very proudly say, there are 16 languages taught here as second and third language. Now, why an Indian? I'm sure I was talking to one of my colleagues in the American School of Kuwait, they also have various languages. Why should we learn various languages? So we have English, Hindi, French, Spanish, Arabic, all these languages are there. Languages, when you learn a new language, you are able to communicate with people of that language, people who are using that language. There, you are able to communicate fluently with, through this particular language. So we have people learning new languages. According to NDTV, that's a news channel, the number of students who are learning German has increased tremendously. Why? Because students are moving towards Germany for education, for higher education. So when they're learning a new language, they're able to survive in that country. So that they can just say, I'm an Indian, what's the purpose? I know English, why should I learn another language? But they know to survive in another country, they should know the local language. So when we are embracing each other, we are also promoting intercultural communication. So a person who is in Australia, we communicate to a person who's in the Middle East. A person from India can communicate with a person from, let's say, Oman. It can be through the Arabic language, it can be through English, it can be from one of the Indian languages also. So it also promotes intercultural communication. We develop empathy and understanding. I know a lot of people who talk, my community. Definitely my country, my community is important. But if you look from a global perspective, we are all part of one big world. So we should empathize with each other. I remember somebody had told me the other day, Mary, just remember, each person in this world is fighting a battle. Absolutely true. Absolutely. The 204 people who are here, including me, we all have something there in the back of our mind that we are struggling with. So I need, I'm not going to say, please empathize with me, please feel for my situation when I am not feeling for, let's say, Amna's situation. So develop empathy and understand each and every individual. Please try to be empathetic. Just remember this, when you are in your low, somebody comes and says, Mary, what's wrong? Why are you so sad today? And you want to share with, the person, whatever happened that day, that the entire burden is taken from your heart. The same way, take time to listen to people, empathize with people, understand their situation. Now, please do not say, I've heard a lot of people saying, I'm not going to learn. I have no time for learning. We have to make time. Time doesn't come from somewhere. All right, Mary, I'm going to give you extra 2 hours. No. Unless you learn about other people, how are you going to, impart it in your class? So each one of us has 24 hours, but as they say, where there is a will, there is a way. Take time to learn about another person. Take time to widen your horizon. They say, don't think only in the box and out of the box. I say, think around the box. We were told, think in the box. When I was a student, it was always think in the box. Textbook was the gospel. Then after some time, we think out of the box, think around. Now it is think around the box, because the world is not restricted to your country, your community, your part of the world. It is a globe. We are in a global, it's all over. So think around the box. Now, we Indians, when we came to the Middle East, or we have a lot of my Kuwaiti students are studying in US, UK, Germany, Canada. Now, we are preparing students for the global workforce. Indians are not working in India alone. We have moved everywhere. Kuwaitis are not working in Kuwait anymore. They are working in Kuwait, but they have also moved to other parts of the world. So we are preparing the current generation. We are preparing our students for the global workforce. Remember, the word is global citizens. I'm an Indian primarily, but I'm also a global citizen. I'm a part of the global community. So we are preparing students for the global workforce. And this can only happen if we have taught them correctly to embrace diversity. The student next to him might be belonging to another ethnicity, another country, another religion altogether. Unless I am able to accept that person, I would probably not be able to sit next to them. So as teachers, as facilitators, you are preparing your students to go out to the world and show the best, not the worst, please. Because a student or a human being actually ambassador, we are training ambassadors. Our students are going to be ambassadors in another country. So a major onus, a major responsibility is on our shoulders. So teach them to accept people. You can do it in the form of stories, you can do, which I'll be sharing with you just now. So we are preparing our students for the global workforce. We are encouraging them to think critically. Too much of a hype has been given for critical thinking. But critical thinking is actually, we do it every day in our life, probably every hour we are doing it. There is a problem, we are thinking, how am I going to handle the problem and what is the solution? So think problem, thinking, solution. It encourages critical thinking. Otherwise, what happens is we just it's my way or just go my way, no other highways. So when you are encouraging your children, when you are practicing what you have been telling them, children, everyone is equal. Let's, be willing to accept them. As somebody just said at the start of the beginning, the different pockets, different countries, different time zones. Right now in India, it's 2:06 p.m. And if I'm not mistaken, in Kuwait, it's probably 11:35 a.m. Each one has, so we are encouraging people to think with the problem and get a solution, get a suitable solution where it does not harm anybody. The limit to my freedom ends. My freedom ends where, let's say, summer's domain starts. So I cannot say, okay, now Summer is a good friend of mine, I can treat Summer anyway. No, I cannot. So even if I want to treat her in any way I want, I would remember Summer is a citizen, Summer is a human being of equal status as me. She is the same like me, there is no difference. So I am going to give her respect, not because I'm giving her respect, she is going to give me respect, not necessarily. But I give respect, I get respect. These are the values that we have to teach our children. Now, let's very quickly go to some strategies. And once again, I'm telling you, I'm not telling you anything new. As English facilitators and any other subject facilitators that you are here, let me tell you one thing. Teachers are now in this particular era, they are called facilitators. We are not teaching them everything and anything. You can get it at the snap of a click of a mouse. We are just facilitating, making it easy for them. So there are various strategies as facilitators that we can impart to our students. The first is introduce and celebrate different cultures. I remember in Kuwait, when we had the National Liberation Day celebration, we used to have, different countries putting up their stalls in school. It was called, I'm not getting the word, what it is called. It was, a cultural celebration of various countries. We had the Middle East, we had India, we had Bahrain, we had a lot of countries where each one knew, okay, now this particular country, this is the national flag. These are the delicacies there. These are the dress code, the attire that people wear. So we introduce to them and we celebrate different cultures. It's not only your culture which is important, each and every culture is important. When we are celebrating cultures, what happens is the world becomes one. See, all around the globe, even though we are different nationalities, different attires we're wearing, but we are all together one big world. So we use our diversity to tell the students that, even in spite of our differences, we are all part of one big world. We have cultural exchange now. Very soon, a lot of Indian universities have started the cultural exchange, where a student from Mumbai, that is Bombay, the old name Bombay, Mumbai goes to, let's say, a place in Canada, Toronto, for 2 months. It's an exchange program. So the student from India goes to Canada and a Canadian student comes to India for 2 months. This is cultural exchange. And this actually happened in one of the schools, Jordan Parsi School in Bombay, where we had not only Indians, we had around 16 countries that came. Students came from various regions and they were all asked to wear the Indian attire. The same thing happened when they went to Canada, they had to wear the Canadian attire. So we should encourage. I'm requesting all the people who are here. I know there are a couple of principals here. Please encourage cultural exchange, because what happens when there is cultural exchange. Now, it's probably not possible for all of us to fly to another country. We can have video calling. We can, let's tie up with a particular institute. And today, a couple of our students are going to be talking to the students there. This was tried in, Qatar. I actually did this, with my students back in Mansouriya. We did it in Qatar. We had video calling and we talked to a couple of students in Qatar and they came to know about our, the Kuwaiti National Day, the Liberation Day, etc. So encourage cultural exchange. We should foster respect and open-mindedness. Please, please be open-minded. Do not shrink, do not keep your values, in a bottle. Let it be, absolutely open, because a particular person dressed up in a particular way, not my business to pass judgment. I have to respect that person. And when you respect another person, what happens is you will think from their perspective. A lot of people, let me tell you one thing, the first time that we went to India, a lot of people thought India is a very poor country. And I was shocked to hear that. I'm sure many of my Indian compatriots here would agree to it. India is now, I am not going to be marketing India, because India does not need this thing. But the perspective that, the Indian community had, among those people there was totally wrong. India is a big country with, various languages, various religions. But we are definitely not a poor country. And if you actually see, we are almost, on one of the top 7 countries. India is there somewhere or the other, India is there. So please respect each nationality, respect each country, and be open-minded in your behavior, in your attitude with dealing with other people. Especially, let me tell you, people slightly lower in rank to us. Please, when, if there is respect, you will be very friendly with the people. Where there is no respect, you cannot expect any friendliness. What we have to do is we have to have an inclusive classroom community. Now, I am one witness of an inclusive classroom community, inclusive school community, inclusive ministry community, where after a certain point, whenever you went to the ministry, people knew you. People knew me very well, the area that I was teaching. Parents knew me. They welcomed me. They did not say, okay, she's an Indian, so she's away from us. She's not us. When there is an inclusive classroom, when there is an inclusive school community, you learn to accept the differences of each and every individual. Things become better. Things become, things function smoother. I have a couple of my Indian compatriots who were with me working in the ministry, and I'm sure each one will vouch. They are conducting, like I know Deepa is conducting workshops once a year, twice a year, she conducts workshops. We are welcome. We are welcome. So have a classroom. In Kuwait, we have, let's say, 20, 25 students. All 20, 25 students are not each and every one to participate. Please let not the person who's quiet always be in the corner. I was always a backbencher, let me tell you that. And a couple of teachers would never ask me any questions. So I used to have a nice time sitting in the back, reading comics and eating food from my lunchbox and sharing it with everyone. But now when I'm in class, I make sure what happened with me should not happen to my students. Try to include everyone in your class. Let's not have a child or a student who's sitting alone. Teacher is ignoring the person. So have an inclusive classroom. What can we gain out of it? A lot of things we can gain out of it. First of all, children start respecting the teacher. Now, this teacher did not talk to me, but this teacher said, Adi, what's wrong? Why are you so sad today? Immediately the child starts. I'm teaching, I also have in my class children of special needs, and incorporate them in the main classroom because they might not be able to answer. When you try to include them, trust me, teachers, children love to come to your class. This teacher talks to me. This teacher asks me, what did you eat today? How was your day so far? Why are you looking so low today? Why are you so sad today? Now, in this way, when a particular person, let's say Amna is sad today, and I say, Amna, what happened? You're looking sad today. And then Deepa says, Amna, you are very sad today. Samar says, okay, Amna, share with me what happened. See, everyone is there together. So when we create a classroom environment that fosters cultural diversity, and it promotes, what does it promote? It promotes global citizens. We are training people to be global citizens. So when I say I am a world citizen, that means I am not only an Indian, of course I'm an Indian. I'm not only from the Middle East, I am a citizen, a world citizen. So when we are a world citizen, we are also training our students to be global citizens. So teachers, let's embrace diversity. Whichever country you belong, whichever nationality, whichever language, whichever religion, remember, there is one thing that is common between us. We are all human beings created by, as the gentleman said, by one God. And since we are created by one God, we have to respect, embrace our brothers and sisters. Please do not treat them otherwise. So in your classrooms, when you are in your classrooms, try to incorporate, try to include everyone. Why? When we listen and celebrate what is both common and different, we become a wiser, more inclusive, and a better organization. You know, when we get married, we don't get married to the same kind of a person, right? We get, actually they say poles attract, diverse poles attract, right? So your partner might not be the same nature as you. So, but we are celebrating each other with each other. We are accepting the, what is common between us, our tastes, and the differences are also celebrated. What happens? Everything is peaceful. We become, we work together better. We become wiser. We are more inclusive. So as they say, diversity means equality. Diversity does not mean inequality, please. You might be driving in, let's say, Prada, or you might be, Prado, or you might be driving in one of the latest cars. But that does not mean, since I am driving in a Toyota, I'm anything less than you. So diversity means equality. And when there is equality, it creates awareness. When there is awareness, it breaks down barriers. Walls are broken down. There is no longer a wall, and it fosters friendship. One good example I will tell you here where it's fostering friendship is, even though I have left Kuwait, let's say I left Kuwait 2020. 2 years down the line, this is the third year, I have still been in touch with Miss Veronica, Miss Marine, and Dr. Anne. That shows the friendships are no longer, it's not, I'm here and there in the Middle East. There is no point to continue with the friendship. We are still maintaining, cherishing our friendship. So when you have an inclusive community, remember, you have a wider, audience. You have a wider your perspective changes, and you're able to embrace each other. Thus, your classes, let me tell you, would be the ideal class where a student looks forward to come to your class. No student will say, oh, I don't want to go to, let's say, Fawaz's class because, the class is so boring. I'm sure Fawaz, your classes must be amazing. They would, be very eager to, okay, what's the next class? Oh, it's English. Wow, we are going to have good time. Not good time, we're not jumping there or we're not singing there, but learning and educating becomes fun. So teachers, please, a humble request, change your perspective. Whatever perspective you have, change your perspective. Be willing to accept each other. Whatever differences we have, whichever country, once again, I'm saying, unless you have, an open mind, you will not be able to do it. I hope each one of you will take this as a challenge. I'm going to do this. When I'm going to go to my class, let's say most of the Indian schools have usually Indian students, but I'm sure there is an Arab there. There is, children from the Philippines are there. Children from other Sri Lankans are there. Of course, Ministry of Education only has Kuwaitis or Egyptians as students, but the others we have. Embrace them. Do not let them feel, okay, it's 32 Indians against one Arab. No, embrace them because we have been embraced at some point of their life by them. They have accepted us. That's why I can see a lot of us, there are 213 here, not including me. And most of us are there in the Middle East, right? They have embraced us. There are no barriers. I can see Riyaz smiling nicely. There are no barriers. They would have just put a barrier and they said, all right, I'm not going to take this gentleman because he is not from my country. No, they have embraced us. And let me tell you one thing, since they embraced us, we have all done well. None of us have gone down. Please do not tell me we went down. We have all done well. So when you have gained something, give it back to your students. So I hope each one of you will take this as a challenge. Break the wall, break the barrier, embrace each other. Thank you, teachers. Thank you so much for joining. And I'm so happy Dr. Ann reached out to me, asking me to take this session. It's like I was telling Dr. Reem, that's my mother's house. And this is, India is now my father's house, because 19 years, what I learned in Kuwait, I've got it back to India. I'm literally continuing that. And I'm so proud to be a member of Tesol Kuwait. Thank you so much, Tesol Kuwait. Thank you, Dr. Reem, for the fantastic introduction. Thank you to all the audience, 210 people here on screen, and a lot of them I know personally, a lot of them my colleagues from Kuwait. Once again, as they say in India, thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Mary, for such a fruitful webinar today. The audience has been amazing. I think your energy has quite filled out the webinar session today. So thank you so much for that. To everyone here, as promised, the certificate link is in the chat box. Please do fill it out with the correct information so that we are able to send you the certificates within 5 hours after the session today. So you'll hopefully have the certificate sent to your email by tonight. Thank you once again. Please do keep in touch with Tesol Kuwait. We will be updating.
Am I audible?
We will be updating our website as well as.
Am I audible, sir?
Yes, we will be updating our website along with our Instagram account and social media. So
Am I audible?
I cannot hear you clearly. If you have any questions, please do write them in the chat.
I am asking, am I audible?
All right, so if you have any questions, if you could just put them in the chat box, we would be very thankful.
Dr. Reem, can you hear me?
We'll leave the session ongoing for another couple of minutes so that everybody can fill out the certificate information. And for those inquiring,
Reem, I think you should mute everyone.
Yeah.
This happens all the time. I can see smiling there. We have experience like this when we have some sessions with school students, but that's absolutely fine.
Is it possible to give some questions?
Yes, as soon as we finish the announcements, please. Please notice that the people who will receive certificates are those people who attended at least 45 minutes. We have an attendance list that will tell us how many minutes you have actually attended. And it is a cumulative. For instance, maybe you got disconnected. Well, it will let us know each time that you were here. Also, we will not have a meeting in April because of Ramadan. However, on May the 6th, Dr. Reem, could you please tell us about our speaker for May the 6th?
Yes, certainly. So our next speaker hopefully will be someone joining us from the American University Middle East. And the session is going to be very fruitful. It will be on May the 6th with our speaker from AUM, Natalia Wright, who will be speaking on when East meets West. And we're going to be talking about glocalization rather than globalization. So we will be sure to send all the details within our social media. I have just put in the Instagram account on the in the chat box. So I'll copy that again. So please do follow us on our social media platform as well as our website. We will be sharing all the details that you need in terms of registration link, timings, and anything that you might need. So thank you again to everyone.
I think some people had questions that they need to type their question in the chat box rather than open the microphone. So please, if you have a question for Miss Mary, please type your question in the chat box. And Dr. Ream will read your question to Miss Mary.
All right, so Miss Mary, if you would like to put in your email in the chat box, some people would like to reach out to you and ask for the PowerPoints if possible.
Yeah, I'm good.
Thank you so much. All right, if anyone has any further questions. So how to be a part of Tesol Kuwait. So we are usually, well, our elections are annual. All of our posts are posted on our website. So kindly do follow our website for all of our latest news and details. Thank you. Thank you for your interest.
I think also they're wanting to know how to be a member, not necessarily of the board.
Yes, Ms. Fatma already responded, putting in the link.
So please, we encourage you go to the Tesol Kuwait homepage, join there. The membership thing is being updated in the next few weeks.
All right, and the website is also in the chat box for any inquiries.
There was a question about how can I include a university student who is not willing to speak because of his low grades during his educational journey?
I'm sure all of us have faced this in our life. Because my grades reflect all, right? It's up to us to encourage them. Grades matter for the university, but we have to make sure to tell them, grades are important, but not primarily, they are not very important, right? Of course, we need high grades to get admission in very good universities. But let me tell you one thing, if you look at people who are really doing very well in life, I would talk about, the Shark Tank, the sharks that are there, if you watch the program Sharks, none of them are high grades, none of them are high grades. We have to get students to speak. And I faced this a lot in my school, in my school when I was a student. I was very bad in maths, let me tell you one thing. And the teacher would come, I'm still very bad at maths. The teacher would come and the first thing she would do would target me like, okay, she's bad in maths. I still have a phobia of maths. English for me was bad when I started off, but the teacher inculcated in me, she said, Mary, even if you speak wrong, it's absolutely fine. We are not judging you here. And thus developed, my passion, my liking for teaching, English as a subject. Maths is still a phobia. As a teacher, it's our duty to include children who feel left out. That is why I say inclusive. Please include them. Whether it's a slow learner, whether it's a student who's not, a dyslexic child, include them. Please include them. Grades these days, just, get the average grades more than enough. But, a good human being is what is most important. Somebody would ask me, what will happen if you are a good human being? That's what we are supposed to be. We are supposed to be good human beings. There is nothing besides that. If you are getting an A+ and you are a horrible human being, who is going to look at you? Nobody, nobody. People will take care of you. There is a cartoon I saw, a small child of 3 years old feeding 12 cats, 12 kittens actually. I appreciated that child, the child did that, There are a lot of people who got so many, we would not give anything from our abundance. But there are people who give from their very little that they have got. Give from your little that you have. It will pinch you, but that's what is important. So a child with a low grade, please inculcate, tell the child, the child can do it. Let's try, let's try. All of you who were here, when you used to drive cars in Kuwait, I started driving in 2002 and I had a major accident, I did not stop driving. I did not stop. When you guys, gentlemen here who started learning how to, ride the bicycle, I'm sure zillion times you fell down. Did it stop you? No. So inculcate, tell your children, grades are important, but as a human being, what is more important is you. Please be a dignified, a good human being. So get the child into, talk to the child. Once a day, talk to the children who've got low grades. Get them. Okay, today, let's say Mahesh is going to take the class today. All right, Mahesh, come on. I'm going to be on mute. You take. See the child, they will be starting problems. But slowly, gradually, the child will be able to speak. Try it. Please try it. I have tried it now where I'm teaching. I have a child who stammers. Literally stammers, you know. Now, it's okay. So I told him, you know, his name is Ashutosh. He's only in grade 3. I told him today, Ashutosh is going to start the lesson. He started stammering. The children were all like this, you know, first time Ashutosh is speaking. But they got used to the way he was speaking. And the child has spoken continuously. And let me tell you, first time in 21K school, in fact, in an Indian school, I am organizing TEDx, where Ashutosh is a speaker. So if you got my email, I will send you the recording. A child who was stammering is going to be speaking 10 minutes on the topic. Guess what? Challenges. Take it out, you know, make the child speak, make the children speak. Trust me, you will change the person totally. All those who've got my email, I would love to share with you the TEDx talk. Each one of you can try it out in your schools. Takes nothing. And I am so honored, you know, he is going to be the one starting the TEDx talk. I told him, stammer, whatever you want to do, stammer. No one is going to judge you. If you forget, no issues. No one knows what you forgot because only you know what you're going to speak. And I know. The audience does not know. So do it. Try it. Teachers, try it. Please try it. Please try it.
Okay, we have a question. Don't you think that we need to teach people to keep sensitive issues during cultural exchanges as a matter of respect to others, the same as we teach them to be open?
Absolutely, absolutely. I have faced this particular thing, you know, a couple of times, you know, when I had the first year when I was in Kuwait, was not, and I was staying in the hostel, let me tell you one thing. And I was the only Indian and I did not know the way things were moving there. And there have been a couple of times when people had been rude to me. But over the years, you know, they came and apologized. They said, Mary, we didn't know. You are such a fantastic human being. So as a human being, encourage your children to reach out to people who are different. Not just watch, you know, music videos and, you know, all these BTs, etc. You know, watch, but accept them also. So when we are, you know, embracing, when we are accepting them, they become a part of your community also. So teach this, and this only happens when we teach them. Home front, this is not taught. Let me tell you one thing. Are we teaching our children at home? You know, we are teaching them to respect elders. We are teaching them, you know, how many of us, honestly tell me, how many of us as parents have told our children, you know, each and every country is important. Of course, we might be doing it. We might be doing it, but not most of us. We tell them everyone is equal. Yeah, we tell them respect everyone. That's all. So, but you have to practice. Please, please, please practice what you teach. It's very nice to say things and don't do the same things. I hope that's answered your question.
The next question is, I work in a language center and sometimes they register different group ages, 10 or 12-year-olds with over 20 students in the same level, especially levels A1 and A2. Do you have any advice on how to handle them equally in class?
Please, if children are there with adults, let me tell you, their level is almost as the adults. That's why they've been placed in that level. You don't need to treat them. Don't babysit them. Please don't babysit them. Stop babysitting children. I have not, you know, done for my children also. Please, after a certain point, if they are, let's say a B2 level and they are with adults, they've already reached that level. That's why they are in that level. What can you say? You can't say, oh, let's say Amna, oh, baby Amna is here. Can I say that baby Amna is here? No, baby Amna will not like it because she is almost at par with that the adults. Treat them equally. Please treat them equally. We are not giving differentiated question papers, you know, to children in the same class because that child is only 15 years old. So the child will get a baby paper and the adult will get an adult paper. No, it's the same level. You go to take the IELTS. IELTS exam, 18 years and above, are competing against 51, 52. They're not getting a difference. So treat them equally. Please treat them in the class, treat them equally. Do not differentiate between them. No. Trust me, treat them as adults. You'll see the difference. You start babysitting them, they will not like coming to your class. Who wants to be? I don't want to be. Please don't babysit me. I've reached that age.
Sorry,
Yeah.
our next question. Are there any limitations to embracing diversity when it contradicts others' values?
That's what we say. We have to be open-minded. The particular value that my country, my religion is telling might be teaching me. What I'm practicing would be different to another person's religion and another person's country. So be flexible, be willing to, please do not stick to your religion. No, of course we stick to our religion, definitely. I'm a very devout Christian, but that means I have to respect them also. So embrace them, accept them. So there is no difference between, what is right for me is wrong for them. No, what is right for me is right for them also. What is wrong for me is wrong for them also. There might be different perspectives for that. That's it.
Okay, our next question. I teach adults in their university and they feel frustrated because they reach this level and still can't speak English. How can we motivate these kind of learners?
There is no way to motivate them. Just keep talking to them. Like I'm in India right now and I'm in a state called Kerala. Now, my mother tongue is Malayalam, but I cannot speak fluently Malayalam. That has not stopped me from, speaking that language. People have made fun of me. You speak Malayalam with a very, with an accent. I don't care. As far as I'm speaking and as far as I'm communicating, adult learners will always face this issue where we are not able to learn anything. We are not able to grasp the intricacies of the language, let me say. It takes time. That's why they are adult learners. Give them time, give them space, please. Give them space. I always say, give them space, give them time. Don't expect them to learn it like young children would learn. And we have to go according to their level. You can't teach a dyslexic student the same way as you would teach an exceptionally well, a fantastic student, a very bright student. I have to differentiate. So adult learners will always face this issue. Keep motivating them. Keep motivating them. That's the task that we have been entrusted with.
The next question is, as a teacher, how can we reduce racial discrimination among the students in our school?
I want to know what is racial discrimination. I've been hearing about it a lot. I think all of us what exactly is racial discrimination? We don't have racial discrimination because of color. That was abolished decades ago. So ethnicity, that is the country, when the country comes, like, I'm an Indian and I do not like this particular country. Please, there is no racial, I don't see any racial discrimination. Where is the racial discrimination? There might be in some places. That's why we are saying embrace various cultures, accept people to wipe that, 0.0001 racial discrimination wherever there is. I have not found any racial discrimination. I've been to almost, I've interacted with almost everyone in the Middle East. I have friends all across the world now. Where is the racial discrimination? It is in my mind, okay, they're going to look at me like that. No. Remember, teachers have this policy. I am the best, he is the best, or she is the best. When two bests meet, we are all the best. If I think I am the best, and let's say I feel that, Mahesh thinks Mahesh is best and Mary is, one, it's okay, that's his perspective, not mine. So racial discrimination, please do not take them into your class. Please do not take it to your class. Keep it outside. Keep it just at the, threshold of your class. Do not carry it inside. Do not carry it inside. Let me tell you, I have a particular student who's from Pakistan. Now, as many Indians will say, I have a student in my grade 6, 7, and 8, I have students from Pakistan. I'm not saying, okay, you are from Pakistan, chalo. I am not going to, no. I talk to him. when they had the riots, I talked, I said, I hope everything is safe. And the child loves to come to the class. So racial discrimination, is it that? Or is it color? No, I don't think so. I don't think so. Please do not encourage racial discrimination. You see something wrong happening, immediately correct it. Do not say, oh, what happens if I correct the child? The child might not like it. You have to correct the child there itself. Do not say after the class, I will do it. Do not do it publicly. Just, give them some task and just go and say, all right, for example, let's say, Ruchi, that was not a nice way to say it. You could have put it in that way. Please do not be so, I think you were slightly rude, don't you think so? Immediately see the change that comes to the child. So please do not encourage racial discrimination. Please, please.
Okay, next question. How can we include a sight-impaired student who doesn't want to take part in class discussion, who is reluctant to participate almost in every class task? He lacks motivation. There's also a mix of psychological issues. As a teacher, I tried to include him, but in vain. Any suggestion?
One thing, let me tell you one thing. What does the word impossible mean to everybody? Can anyone give me the literal dictionary meaning of impossible?
I am possible.
Yeah, no, dictionary does not say. Now, all of us know that. All of us know that. Dictionary says impossible. It's the opposite of possible. Cannot happen. Any child who does not want to participate in class, just given the word impossible, the child will say, Miss Mary, this is impossible. I cannot do it. Break it up, as Ruchi said. Impossible means I am possible. I can do it. Again, in my dictionary, 3 words are there. 3 words. One is impossible. That means I'm possible. Second one is no. No, for me, there is nothing called no. No means next opportunity. Please write it down. No means there's nothing no for me. I can do everything. I can do everything. I think women will all agree we can do everything. Men might not, but we can do everything. So no, there is no with for me. And the third one is fail. Fail actually means first attempt in learning. The word fail is there in your mark sheet. I failed in my Arabic, this thing. I'm not going to try. Take it as the first step to success. Fail means first attempt in learning. I tried it. And I succeeded. So any child who does not want to participate, please, any child who does not want to participate, include them. Miss Anne, I was looking at in the chat box, somebody said, somebody's inviting me to the US. Bill, if you give me a visa, to be on the lighter note, if you give me a visa, I will take my, I will put my bill. I would definitely love to come and see. I think all of us would love to come and see racial discrimination there. He says it's in many places. Do not look at the dark side of life. Think of the bright side of life also. No, always, oh, okay, I'm not going. Does it stop any of us going to US? No. If there is, why are people still, US is supposed to be the dream place that I'm sure many of us, given an opportunity, would literally fly, right? If we are given an opportunity, okay, Mary, come, you can teach there in one of the greatest universities there. You think I'll be bothered about racial discrimination? I will definitely fly. So look at the bright side of life. Do not look at the negative side of things, because then life will become miserable. Look at the bright side of life.
Okay, next question. What is a better way to describe the linguistic differences of our students to reduce bias?
I am one example of that. Let me tell you. When I entered my first class in Kuwait, I was posted in a school, in Doha. Doha is one place where there are they're very religious, very religious. When I went into the class the first day, can you imagine how I was treated? They literally booed me. I literally ran out of class crying, literally crying, let me tell you, literally crying. I did not understand a word of Arabic. They were not able to understand what I was saying because of the way I was speaking. So first day I was booed, second day I was booed, third day I literally ran out of the class. Fourth day I said, no, Mary, I cannot give it up. I have to go back. One thing I told them is I took another teacher who translated whatever I said. I said, okay, fine. You're not accepting me because, you know, we are different backgrounds. You know, we are from different countries, but I have been assigned a task. Please, my humble request, please let me not fail in this task. And then they saw that, you know, literally I had tears in my eyes, you know, because then they all sat down, and I had one leader who was telling the girls, keep quiet, no? Like she was getting angry with them. Sit down, let's listen to what she's saying. Henceforth, after that, after a week, they would just come out of my staff room and say, is Miss Mary present today? Or is she been transferred? Is she here? So I have experienced, you know, linguistic difference. In Kuwait, when I reached the first time, I have experienced. But then I accepted it and they accepted me. I would give credit to my students for accepting me. As I told you, I was the first batch of Indian teachers in the ministry. They could have just given up on us. They could have just said, but the very fact they accepted me, that was fantastic. And I accepted them, you know, and let me tell you proudly, I'm in touch with almost all my students I taught in 19 years. Almost all of them. They get married, they send me the photo. They have a baby, they send me the photo. They can just say she's not in Kuwait. They accepted me. So welcome each other. I don't believe there is anything called linguistic difference. There is something called bias. It's all there in my mind. It's all there in my mind.
Okay, here's a question. Do you think artificial intelligence will be able to replace many small jobs and careers in learning and teaching pronunciation in the near future?
I'm actually attending a course on artificial intelligence because, you know, when I was introduced to ChatGPT, so I'm still in the learning. Maybe after a couple of months, I'll be able to tell you that, give you the answer. I do not want to give you something which is wrong because I have just put my hand into it. So I still have to learn a lot. But trust me, it's not so bad. It's not so bad. And definitely it will not replace human beings in various sectors. Where can you, you know, replace a nurse? We cannot have robots coming and giving you medicines. Can you have robots coming in? Imagine the robot is coming and giving you medicines. Or imagine the doctor is not there. Doctor is monitoring from somewhere and the robot is coming and examining you. No, not at all. Menial jobs. Imagine somebody in the Jamaiya. We cannot have a robot standing there and doing some sort of a work. No. There is a limit to what artificial intelligence can do. All those who tried ChatGPT, just write the question in ChatGPT. What would you do if you are faced with racial discrimination? The ChatGPT will say, I'm sorry, I'm not able to do it. So that person does not have the experience of it. But whatever he is giving you or artificial intelligence, it is giving it to you, it's something which is already there in it, you know, it's fed. A human being will think from a different perspective. AI will think from a different perspective. It will make life easier, but it will definitely not replace human beings. Then why did God or Allah not make AI? In the first attempt only, please tell me, kindly enlighten me on that. Huh? Why did God make, you know, Adam and Eve? I think most of us, Adam and Eve, why did God? He could have just made AI. I'm sure God is intelligent, so he could have made it. That's the importance that we've got. Human beings are human beings. Nothing can replace. Whether it's AI, ChatGPT, Google, whatever, no.
By the way, that will be one of our topics in a webinar when we come back after the summer holidays, not the September one, but one of the ones, and it is incorporating AI into the classroom. Okay, thank you all very much for attending. Remember, if you attended for at least 45 minutes, you will be receiving a certificate. And Dr. Reem had shown the
And you're not audible.
So sorry. Thank you so much for joining us, Miss Mary.
Welcome.
People
Pleasure is
who
mine.
people who signed up for the certificates will receive a certificate if they attended at least 45 minutes. And what I had said was next year, there will be one webinar on incorporating AI into the classroom. So we hope, though, that you will join us in May, on May the 6th at 11 o'clock, when Natalia Wright will be talking about glocalization, which she means by localizing, quote unquote, localizing teaching materials for the local culture. Again, thank you and have a good day. Goodbye.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks for
Thank
being a
you.
great audience. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Miss Mary.
Bye-bye. God bless.
Thank you so
God
much.
bless. God bless.
Thank you.